Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be building a spice rack for my wife for Valentine's Day. Today is February 13th, so it does not leave us a lot of time. It's 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon here, and I'm going to try to tackle this job in the next 4 hours, hopefully less. Let me show you what I've got designed and the pieces of wood that I'll be using for this project. I've started this project with some inspiration from Pinterest. Yeah, Pinterest. Going to incorporate 4 shelves and a pull-out drawer. And by sliding a spice bottle along my tape measure, I'm able to figure out the size I'll be aiming for. Only using lumber that I had in the shop for this one. 18mm pre-finished Baltic birch plywood for the frame and the shelves. Setting my table to 45 degrees, I'll be cutting a miter for the shelves. Not a necessary cut, as you would easily be able to hide the exposed plywood with the butt joint. But I like to try different techniques on these simpler home builds. Using tape on the back side of the cuts to hold the 2 pieces together, applying glue, and then more tape to act as clamps. Drawing some lines on the side panel to figure out the spacing of the shelves and the size of the drawer. Using a table saw sled to get those perfect 90-degree cuts with minimal tear out. Placing a stop block whenever possible to keep the pieces consistent. After cutting the sides and bottom, I continue ripping 1/8 strips of maple for the edge banding. I use an angle finder to get the exact miter angles to cut. An inexpensive tool that I'd highly recommend, gluing them on and using more tape to hold them in place. The edge banding was exactly 3/4 of an inch wide, so I kept the inside flush and the outside would have about a 1/16 of an inch overhang as an accent. I cut the shelves to their final height and then attached the edge banding to the shelves. To mount the shelves, I used a Craig shelf pin jig. Pocket holes could have been used here as well to mount them directly, but I kind of like the idea of being able to take out a whole shelf if needed when in the kitchen. Because everybody loves some pocket holes, there's going to be a few in this project as well. With the 1/16 of an inch overhang on the bottom, I raised it slightly to keep the edge banding consistent, making sure to clamp all pocket holes before driving a screw. Added a small divider to the upper portion to keep the spacing aligned so the shelves wouldn't bind. Cutting the shelves to their final length and adding some shelf pins, I can place the shelves where they belong. Next, I started on the drawer box. Here we are using a 1/2 inch Baltic birch plywood and a piece of 3/4 maple for the face. Nothing fancy here, using butt joints, glue, and brad nails. If I could go back now, I would choose a different option for stain. I used gel stain thinking this may minimize the blotching of the maple, but that did not turn out. A different option I would have tried would have been some wipe-on poly. Because the plywood sides were pre-finished, the gel stain was easily wiped off afterwards. To keep the shelves in their place front to back, I cut some small pieces of plywood and mounted them directly behind the shelf. Here I found the center of the drawer and used a Kreg jig to drill the holes for the pole. You silly boy, you need to remove that extension. You're gonna bind the drill. After learning what needed to be done, clamped a piece of wood to the back to minimize blowout and attach the pole. And that wraps up another build. Happy wife, happy life. Although, if I were to do this again, I think walnut with the maple edge banding and wipe-on finish would really take this to the next level. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. And until next time, take it easy and have a good one.